Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. After a long hiatus, an overly long hiatus, I have decided to start vlogging again. And I was attempting to actually restart yesterday, but my hair was so long and bothering me that I decided I needed to just kind of start over. And I'm gonna start off today's little comeback vlog with getting a haircut at an extremely old school place. Here I am outside Model Barbers for a much needed haircut. Long overdue haircut accomplished. I got it pretty darn short, but it'll last quite a long time is my thinking. And these guys are super nice. It's super chill. Vibe in there was a piece of cake. I almost got straight into a chair as soon as I walked in. Oh, now it's time to go get some other more interesting stuff done. Now I'm in Long Island City and I'm heading up on Vernon Boulevard to Astoria here in Queens to go check out and shoot some video of what is known as the Welling Court Mural Project, which is this huge array of street art along the sides of a bunch of businesses and a lot of automotive shops and stuff on their roll gates, which are the sort of protective metal doors that people roll down at night. So this should be interesting. I've driven by it before at night, but I've never really checked it out during the daytime, and it looks like a whirlwind of color and paint, so looking forward to checking it out. And out the window to my right, I don't know if you can, probably it's kind of hard to tell through the van window, but these are the infamous Queensbridge houses, which are the biggest housing project in the United States. And if you're an old school 90s rap head, this is where Nas and Mobb Deep came out of. And if you're an 80s rap head, there was a beef between Long Island City rappers and Bronx rappers, and the diss track from the Bronx crew was called The Bridge Is Over, and the bridge was short for Queensbridge, as in the Queensboro Bridge that I just drove under. I think those were built in like 1939 or so. Back then, when wealthy people wanted to live around Central Park in Manhattan or some in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, the waterfront was actually considered kind of a derelict area. As you can see to my left, here's a power plant. So like the waterfront was just for industry, though it's where the docks were, and what were known as the gantries, which were the devices, these giant kind of like hook and pulley things that took cargo off of ships that were coming into New York City. And now, obviously, there's been a massive paradigm shift 100 or so odd years later, that the waterfront is obviously the most valuable property in New York City. So there's been a complete 180 in terms of how the city is valued. The wealthy used to want to live inland, and now the developers are building everything on the city's periphery along the East River, where I am driving alongside now, and the Hudson River that divides Manhattan and New Jersey. There's no exact agreement on where Long Island City ends and Astoria begins, but I think you could comfortably say this is Astoria now. We've just kind of crossed the border once you're past the Queensbridge houses projects. And now I think you can, yeah, this is definitively Astoria. So you can see now there is a ton of development going on. You can see all of these condo buildings being built, and things here are changing very rapidly. So the mural project is something that is sort of a relic from another time, and I think is being mostly preserved, at least for now. I was reading in the New York Times an article about this neighborhood from about 7 years ago, and apparently there's a gentrification tower called Graffiti House, which is like how, you know, big corporate real estate and local developers alike are co-opting like street culture to try and give their places a little bit of, I don't know, to try and kind of set them apart from the competition, I guess. No one's really sure why. But here you can see, here is the East River, and over there is, to my left, is Roosevelt Island over my shoulder, and Manhattan further afield. Well, here we are in the Welling Court area of Astoria, which I read is also known as Old Astoria Village, although I don't know how common that is. And yeah, there are murals everywhere, and it's really cool. So I'm gonna just cruise around just on my very disused skateboard, and we're gonna just pass by a few and just check them out. So there aren't areas where there's like murals forever. They seem to be sort of in fits and starts in different parts of Welling Court. But it's really cool. This is also a really kind of fun, funky neighborhood. This is one of the more creative things I've seen. These cables are the foot of this clawed bird. That is pretty innovative. The more you cruise around this place, which isn't a terribly big neighborhood, the art gets better and better. Like this incredible portrait here. And on this almost spring day, here we have cherry blossoms budding. Before we hit yet another massive wall. And also, this is quite a contrast, as I was saying before, this giant wrecked truck. Whoever crashed this probably didn't fare too well.
Say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost. You could say I'm sort of the boss, so get lost.
Then listen for a while till the name of the place.
How rapid the changes are is really evident. Here we have a new apartment building being built, probably luxury buildings if I were to guess. And then here you've got just super crusty old graffiti walls on a metal fence.
Then listen for a while till the name of the place.
And as a bonus, if you happen to like to still ride a skateboard, even as I do at my old age, this area has a ton of interlocking little hills. Like, this is super fun to skate. And then you can check out, and there's art on all the side streets. It's super fun. I don't necessarily recommend going against traffic. Then I'm coming through another intersection, and I'm going to do a little uphill push. and you come to yet another amazing collection of murals. I mean, this place is pretty fantastic. If you come to visit the Welling Court area of Astoria, the thing that'll strike you right away are the incredible architectural and artistic contrasts. So here behind me, you've got an abandoned church that's boarded up, looking in pretty rough shape. And then here across the street, I'm just gonna bomb that on my skateboard. You've got an amazing mural wall.
Didn't listen for a while to the name of the place. Didn't listen for a while to the name of the place.
The greatest thing about coming to this area is that I'm getting some inspiration of my own. You know, I feel like it kind of brings out the creativity in me, whether it's doing some juggling or making my own street art or whatever. The area seems to be a mix of gentrification, intact dwellings and businesses, and the sheerly derelict. Here along these graffiti boards is what seems to be a whole lot of just basically trashed cars that are in limbo. But this also gives me an idea. Maybe I can do a piece of my own street art. If any of you watch this channel, especially my shorts, you might notice that I do these kind of photo poster art collages of my Fabled City Print series, which this channel is named after. And my Fabled City prints are analog prints from the late 90s and early 2000s, before the digital revolution in photography. And I make this kind of street art out of them. Basically, it's not an entirely defined concept, but I like to print up beautiful old prints on matte paper and just put them out there for all to see, because it was, you know, these images date from before Instagram and sort of from the early days of the internet, basically. So I'm going to maybe do a piece on this wall here. So if any of you guys are curious, basically how I do my art, it's simply prints with whatever tape I have on hand. So I basically carry a folder around with me at all times in my backpack. This is the Ziggurat of Ur in southern Iraq, where I was last year in 2023. I revisited it 20 years later. So this print is from 2003, from the American and British invasion of Iraq. And this is what is known as a slot canyon in the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument in southern Utah. This is formed by, like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of years of rainfall. It's pretty incredible. And then I just have these really basic hashtag prints, which are super simple. And I'm gonna tape these up and show you guys the finished product. So there you have it. This is a finished Fabled City installation on this crusty old junked car lot. So I've got my print from southern Iraq, southern Utah, and my tired old hashtag, which I guess aren't really in vogue in social media anymore, but the prints are old. Perhaps my concept's a little dated, but this is actually the genesis of where I ended up calling my channel Fabled City, because it's something that harks back to another time. We've got, you know, the history of ancient men in Sumeria, and the history of the ancient Earth in southern Utah in the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. So yeah, hope you guys like it, and we're gonna do a little more exploring before it gets dark. Here, this school bus garage is cloaked in walls of murals on the exterior. If you wanted to come up here and skate flat ground, there is a brand new basketball court. Wow. This is so perfect. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content, and I just want to say that I'm glad to be back here on YouTube after quite a long hiatus. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.